What are the top 5 nutrition and diet mistakes that I see people making? It's a pretty straightforward video. There's not really much to say for the intro. I guess hope you're having a nice day. Like, I don't know. Anyway, my name's Shay. I'm a nutritionist and an international level athlete. And yeah, first one is late eating. And I'm not talking about like the goons in the kebab shop at 2 a.m. I mean your last meal. How close is it to your bedtime? Okay, it's well established that not only is it going to make it harder to fall asleep if your last meal is really close, but also your sleep quality, which is the big hitter. You know, no, we don't talk about sleep enough. Everyone's talking about, oh, get your protein in. No, dude, sleep, okay? Get your sleep quality up. That's the number one thing. The theory behind that is like, oh, if everything's digested, you can actually have your body focused on the resting, not the digesting, when you're actually in bed, not trying to like digest the 2 Big Mac meals and 3 stun grenades you ate like 20 minutes ago. Like, stop it. Brian Johnson sees his best results with sleep when he eats his dinner before midday, which is pretty crazy. I know it's not feasible for most people, but scale it back as much as you can. My Whoop recovery is highest when it's like, you know, further back, if I can, right? Fat and fiber can slow down digestion, and this doesn't make it bad, just keep it in mind, right? If your meal is gonna be high in fat, try and move it a little bit further back. But this also doesn't mean like make it a carb bomb, because your insulin response is weaker in the evening too, and you don't want to be running into like insulin insensitivity. Usually, if I'm gonna have like something sweet, I'll have it earlier on in the day, not before bed, okay? But yeah, I don't want to fear monkey here, like carbs aren't bad, fat's not bad, fiber's not bad, just, well, regardless of what you're eating, just try and distance it if you can. But yeah, next one. This is another one I don't really hear people talking about really ever. Okay, I see people trying to gain weight, or if they're trying to gain muscle, they're like, oh, just eating all day, dude, 6 meals a day, I feel terrible. And I've been there too, dude, trying to get like 4,000 calories back in the day. It was so hard. I was like bloated all the time, feeling terrible, never actually hungry. And as soon as I made the switch when I'm actually trying to put on weight, maybe like earlier on in my off season, 2 meals. Two and a half maybe, but yeah, you get the idea. So competitive eaters do this. They'll have a big meal earlier on in the day, and then maybe the competition at night, so your stomach's actually more accommodating of a larger meal. And this is kind of where it becomes a lot easier to eat more, just because your stomach's accustomed to it, as opposed to snacking on these small meals all day. And it also allows like the ghrelin reset, which is your hunger hormone. If you're actually just eating all day, this never actually resets and spikes up for you to actually be hungry and eat again. But with regular larger meals and less frequent, this really becomes established, and you can, you know, really get into that food before you start feeling full. You'll actually be hungry, you'll be enjoying the food again, which is new stuff on a bulk, right? I found this study like at least a year ago, and I can't find it again. It's really irritating, but there was clear evidence for this. If you can find the study about less meals eating more calories, I'll send you a cookie via carrier pigeon. It also saves time. You can stick to a routine easier, and you only have to prep like 2 meals a day, which is just a lot easier. As well, you can even adhere to like an eating window, like intermittent fasting. You can still actually do this while eating high calories. It's pretty crazy. And it's not like this will mean you're eating high calories even when you don't want to, because the difference there is just don't gorge yourself at the meals, and you'll probably eat like a normal amount. So it can be used for cutting and for bulking. It's crazy. The next mistake is if you're not subbed to the channel, like, dude, what are you doing? No, it's falling for food marketing stuff, and maybe this is more just the general population, not people who are actually in health and fitness, but some of these I find pretty funny, particularly like the high sugar, high fat ones, like, oh, it's low in sugar, but it's like just a bag of saturated fat, and it's like, oh, this is low in fat. Well, for one, fat isn't inherently bad, you know, it depends on the type of fat, the context, right? But then it's like, oh, low in fat, but it's just, you know, the bag of sugar, really. The other one's like, oh, this is really low calorie. It's like, you're buying food that has less food. Like, we're paying for the calories, right? Partly, the nutrients too, and the taste, but the calories are a part of it too. And then if it's high calorie, they say high energy, even though it's like, stop it. All the natural stuff as well, like, oh, this is made with natural ingredients, like high fructose corn syrup. It's like, oh, it's made with real corn. It's like, okay. It's like, dude, dirt and tree bark is 100% natural. Doesn't mean you should eat it. It's like, if you're gonna give me a label on the front of something, make it like something cool, dude. It's like, this is made with peanuts from Nicaragua, or this contains endangered species. Like, you know, it sounds cool. The other ones with like protein as well, it's like, oh, this has more protein compared to whatever the thing is, but they've just bumped up the serving size. And it's like, well, yeah, if you double the serving size, you double the protein. Like, how dumb do you think I am? It's like, if you see a food label, just like assume that it's a bunch of crap, okay? That's my point. The next one here is extreme low fat intake. And again, people don't talk about this enough. If anything, people promote lower fat diets, which is just outrageous because of the three macronutrients, your protein, your fat, your carbs, you can do without the carbs, but you need fat and protein, okay? So don't cut the fat ever. Like literally without fat and protein, I'm pretty sure you just die. Like, maybe not immediately, but eventually. A couple studies here were saying of the total calories, if 20% or 25% compared to 40% of your total calories is fat, the 40% group had higher test levels, the 20 and 25% tanks your test, dude. People are always afraid of fat. It's like, why, dude? It's like, oh, it makes you fat. It's like anything in excess will make you fat, okay? It's not precisely the fat. We need it for hormonal imbalances, okay? And the funniest thing here is that if it fits your macros thing, it's outrageous. Don't get me started. I did a whole video on it, which didn't do very well. It was pretty old, but there was some good stuff in there. And basically, I'll put my stats in a calculator here, and it's going to spit out, you know, a recommendation for fat. And if you do the calculation, times it by 9 for calories, and then divided by whatever total calories for the day is, it's about 25%, which is the amount which is going to crash your test. So it's like, people are following this. If it fits your macros, it's so silly, dude. And don't get me started on the fact that it doesn't have like carb timing. It's just carb total by the end of the day. And micronutrients don't matter either. Like, I'm gonna go insane, okay? I'm gonna go insane. Like, people go out of their way to follow this thing for their health, but it's just making their health worse. Okay, I'll stop. Last one here is poor pre-training nutrition. Okay, if you're having a snack before training, what should it be? Should it be some vegetables, steak and eggs, or should it be some candy? Coincidentally, it could be the candy, depending on the session you're doing, right? From what I've seen, a lot of the pre-training meals, it's like some of them do it well. It's like, okay, a bowl of oats might be a generic one. That's fine. You generally just want carbs before training, as people be prioritizing protein. It's a bit, just get the carbs in before, okay. I always say the 1 to 4 rule, 1 to 4 grams of carbs, 1 to 4 hours out from training, if you want to be precise about it, but otherwise just have like a meal 3 to 4 hours out and then maybe just a little bit of carbs right before. That'll have you sorted. But yeah, just don't fall into this like, oh, you need high protein all the time. It's like, why, dude? And then they just kind of freak out. Like, they're following the guidelines that juice heads use. It's like, yeah, they're juice heads, they need more, dude. Okay, anyway, those are my top 5 things. Let me know down below what other mistakes you see some people making. I'd be interested to hear about that. But yeah, if you enjoyed this, there's some more videos there. I'll see you next time.